Hi, it's Nathaniel Whiston here, and you join me once again for another episode of Writers of West Anglia, and today I'm travelling to the village of Aldwincle. It's to the north of Thrapston, to the southeast of Brigstock, and to the southwest of Aldwincle. It's in East Northamptonshire, and it's in West Anglia. Writer of West Anglia is a poet, a playwright, a literary critic and a translator. Bit of a jack of all trades. He's from the 17th century and his name is John Dryden. Now I don't know if you've come across John Dryden before, but some of his most famous works include The Hind and the Panther, Annus Mirabilis, bad year. What else was there? Absalom and Achitopel, I don't know how to pronounce that, and The Medal. I haven't actually read any of those, but I expect they're very good because we're still talking about Dryden to this day. Job centre tomorrow. That'll be fun. Always is. How have you improved your CV this week? How have you made yourself more attractive to employers? Etc, etc. John Dryden was a lover of rules and structure. His own writing style was very precise and controlled, and he viewed Shakespeare, who came before him, as something of a renegade, somebody with a flamboyant use of the English language. So when Dryden came along, he wanted to implement rules, he wanted to implement structures. Other than his works, one of Dryden's lasting legacies is the idea that English sentences shouldn't end on a preposition. Now, that's something I've always struggled with. Today, in honour of Dryden, I'm going to try and avoid doing that, which is something that I think he'd be proud of. I've applied for some jobs, but I need a break. I can't do it all day, every day. And this refreshes me, coming out like this, change of scenery. It's good for me. This is good. It's good. So Jeremy, it's actually very sunny today. And last night you were telling me, oh, what are you going to go for? It's going to chuck it down. Well, actually, no, mate. It's looking pretty good. Few clouds, yeah, but pretty sunny. I don't know why you're going to Morocco when you can stay here and enjoy this sun. Spend all that money to chase the sun and it comes here to West Anglia. Why do people always go abroad on holiday anyway? Why don't they stay here? There's loads of nice places. Pembrokeshire, Jurassic Coast, East Anglia, Norfolk, go there. I know I'm a West Anglian man, but I've got a lot of love for East Anglia as well. And there's some lovely beaches on the North Norfolk coast. So yeah, why don't you go there? Morocco, waste the money, Jeremy, waste the money. Now it's chucking it down. Perfect. You can't say anything, Jeremy. It'll be fine by the time I get there. It'll be absolutely fine. There are some people who believe that John Dryden wasn't even the best 17th century poet called John, because of competition from John Milton and John Donne. But it's a bit like that quote of John Lennon's, which I think is actually a misquote, about him saying that Ringo wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. Well, Dryden not being the best poet called John in the 17th century is kind of the equivalent of that. And it's probably just as true, as in not true at all. I haven't read enough Milton and Donne and Dryden to qualify that point, but I'll have to stick up for him because he's from West Anglia, so I'm in the Dryden camp. Turning must be up here soon, so I'm not going all the way to Corby or the Midlands. A6. The main road now, and I'm on the 2-mile country road into Aldwincle, which, as country roads go, is pretty good. Room for 2 cars. Grass banks instead of mud. Liking it so far. Okay. Here we go. Should be alright. Well, we're here. We're in Aldwincle. So this is the scene in downtown Aldwincle. So you can see here's a guide to Aldwincle telling you how it got its name, places nearby, and there's the mention of its famous son. It was in this church over here where Dryden was christened. It's actually not used for anything now, but an important place in the Dryden story. So Dryden was born in one of these houses here. I'm not sure exactly which one. It's not far from the church he was christened in, but one of these on this street. Dryden didn't actually spend much of his life here in Northamptonshire. As a teenager, he was sent down to King's School, Westminster in London to continue his education. But he came back to Cambridge University, and I like to think he went there not because it was one of the best universities in the world, but because of his love of West Anglia. The first of Dryden's poems given national acclaim was called Heroic Stanzas, an ode to fellow West Anglian man Oliver Cromwell, born not far from here in Huntingdon. It was a stiff-lipped eulogy. In fact, it couldn't have been more stiff-lipped unless there was collagen implanted into it. But nevertheless, it was a hit, and Dryden was on his way to becoming Poet Laureate. Remember I said he was baptised in that church? Well, actually, I've just seen another church, and now I'm a bit confused. He could have been baptised in that one, and his house could be near there instead of where I thought it was. So I'm going to have to go and investigate that. I actually think it's this one, because the one thing I know about it is that it's abandoned now, and this one looks more abandoned than the other one does. Yeah, it's definitely this one. Right, baptised here, and that means born over here. That sign says Dryden House. Okay, we've cleared it up. We've cleared it up. Okay, Jeremy, we won't use the other bit. Got to the bottom of it now. Dryden House here. So he must have been born just here and baptised here. Got it. That was Aldwincle, where Dryden was born, but now we're going to Titchmarsh, which is the village he grew up in. This is St Mary's Church in Titchmarsh, where John Dryden used to come. Very impressive tower. Inside the church in the North Chapel there are monuments painted by Elizabeth Creed, who is John Dryden's cousin and a good friend of Samuel Pepys. Everything's connected, isn't it? Everyone knew each other back then. This is the playing field and playground in Titchmarsh. When young Dryden was a boy, he probably came here. I doubt they had swings and slides, but Possibly he just frolicked and ran around with his chums. This is a very special episode of Writers of West Anglia because I'm joined by a co-star, this horse. Dryden also wrote satires, and his most famous was Mac Flecknose, all about his poetry rival Thomas Shadwell. In this poem, Dryden depicted Shadwell as a Greek hero, but his only skill was intense dullness. Shadwell, of course, did not like this scathing criticism of him. This was a Anglian rivalry. Shadwell was from Norfolk, Dryden from Aldwincle. The East-West Anglian rivalry in full flow back in the 17th century. Very nice clouds today. There's a strange noise, but very nice clouds. Hello, horsey. No, I haven't got any apples. At one point, Dryden wanted to open an academy to preserve the English language, a bit like the French do. Well, they do it with the French language, but Dryden wanted to have an English version to make sure that people use language correctly and properly. Unfortunately, that plan was scuppered by the Great Fire of London bursting out. So next time you see text speak or slang or language used a bit informally, you can blame the Great Fire of London, because Dryden would have made sure that we had an academy and we could all speak English proper. Okay, Jeremy, I made a bit of a mistake going to the wrong church and the wrong house where he was born, but I found it in the end, so just edit the other one out, we'll just leave the proper one in, okay? That was John Dryden, that was Aldwincle and Titchmarsh, and we found out a bit about Dryden's life. What we know for certain is he was a West Anglian man and proud of it. Let's recount the facts. He was born here. He came back here to go to Cambridge University. He wrote an ode to fellow West Anglian, Oliver Cromwell, and got into a fight, an Anglian fight, with Thomas Shadwell. So it's all the proof you need, really. So I'm feeling prouder now to be West Anglian, and you are too. Well, I don't know about you, maybe you are. Maybe you're from West Anglia, maybe you're not. Well, I hope you got whatever you needed to get from this video. That's all from me today. I've been Nathaniel Weston, and I hope you'll join me again next time for another Writers of West Anglia. Goodbye.